Good afternoon. Happy Moon Day. Happy new moon. How exciting is this? Guess what?
What?
We have another guest. Who are we having on today?
It's the one, it's the only legend in her own lifetime, Angela Barker West. Now, you may not know Angela, but she's an incredible person with an incredible story, and we're totally honoured to have her here. And honestly, we wouldn't have had all the other people we had here had we not had her here,
Exactly.
if you know what I mean. But
So,
say hello to
I'm
who
going
we
to say
got
hello
first,
to
quick.
peeps up here. We have Sean and Logan and Wendy and Gilda. Nicole sounds like romper room today.
It does, doesn't
and
it?
Cass and Susan and Savannah and Kimberly and Shayna and Peggy. Hello, everybody. Welcome. And now let's welcome.
Why not? Let's do that. Let's say hi to Angela. And hello, Angela. How are you? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
So Angela,
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, Angela runs Fenix Flames. You've heard of that book company by now because the last few Mondays we've had people on that are their authors. So Angela is going to tell us about what she does and how she does it. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Sorry.
If you guys have questions,
Yes.
you can type in your questions and I'll ask them too.
Absolutely. We'll try and get them through. But I think what would be really, really helpful, Angela, if you don't mind taking just a few moments and explain what is Fenix Flames, how did it come about, why did it come about? Because I know there's a hell of a tale there. And I'd so love you to share that with folks, if you don't mind.
Of course not. Of course not. So Fenix Flames started with a lovely lady called Sarah Louise Kay, and the publishing company actually started because she was friends with Patricia Crowther, and she used to go and visit Patricia at least once a month and sit down and have tea and talk about the craft and work her way through to talking about Patricia's books. Now, Patricia's books, Lid Off the Cauldron, Zodiac Experience and Stagecraft Witchcraft, was actually with another publishing company that are no longer in business. But the problem was that Patricia hadn't been paid a single penny from either of those books since she released them. Now, if you know Lid Off the Cauldron, it was actually released back in the 70s, I believe, the late 70s. And to not get paid a single penny as an author is a bit disgusting, really. And Sarah was really angry about the situation. So she fought to get the contract away from that particular publishing company, and she decided she was going to set up her own publishing company to republish those 3 books for Patricia and actually pay 50% of all the profits to the author, which is Patricia. So as a publishing company, she decided to set that up, and unfortunately Sarah passed just before she got a chance to release Lid Off the Cauldron. She had done all the work of it in the background and got it into the place where she was about to send it to print, and unfortunately she passed very suddenly of a brain hemorrhage. And she was only 27, bless her. And some of you that know Ashley, she was actually Ashley's partner at the time, fiance, to be honest. And I was very, very good friends with Sarah, and we set up Fenix Flames at the time, which is the retail side of Fenix Flames. So me and Sarah were already in business. And when Sarah passed, it took a while for me and Ashley to butt our heads together and sort of say, come on, we've got these contracts from Patricia. Sarah wanted to release it. Let's set up Fenix Flames Publishing. Let's run with Sarah's idea. Let's get Patricia's books out there and let's run with it. Which is what we did. So me and Ashley set up Fenix Flames Publishing at that point. We tagged it onto the Fenix Flames retail side and we got Patricia's books out. Now, thankfully enough, we pay Patricia pretty much every month because that's what she wants, and you don't argue with Patricia. So we pay her regularly. And she gets 50% of all the profits, which now is pretty much every time we sell something. So if we sell one of Patricia's books for £10, which I believe is about $12.50 in America,
thereabouts,
ish off the top of my head, $13, something like that. So Patricia would actually get £5 of every £10 that we sell. And then the other
Awesome.
£5 goes back into Fenix Flames Publishing for us to be able to release more and more authors. So the whole of Fenix Flames Publishing was originally Sarah's little baby, and me and Ashley have decided to bang our heads together and run with it.
And you guys have quite a few different authors now. You have Philip Heselton and Moira and
Yeah.
Rachel and Jonathan.
Yeah.
And those are just the ones that we know
Yes.
about.
And-
Just a few.
And
And
there's a few more coming. There's a few more coming.
I just want to say, well, first off, those who are remembered live, without doubt. And what I think you guys are doing is a tremendous gift to the craft. I know the publisher, for those of you guys that don't know, Lisa and I had a business in the UK as well. I mean, we finally up sticks and left the UK in 2008. But we did, when we were the first 10 years of our relationship, commuting between the US and the UK. We had businesses in the UK, we had the awareness shop there. And we dealt with the publisher of which you speak. And it was always difficult. They didn't seem the best organised company, to be perfectly honest. And I don't mean to be disparaging in any way, but it's such a gift, I think, to the craft to have somebody who's not patently motivated by profit, but really wants to make these precious resources available to people. You know, we all take an oath to preserve the path for those that follow us, and I think what you guys are doing is absolute testament to that. And so for me, speaking personally, thank you for what you're doing. It makes a huge difference.
Oh, thank you. I mean, we're doing it because of Sarah more than anything, and we're doing it because we actually believe in what Sarah believed in, and that was, one, as you said, to preserve the path, and two, get that true knowledge out there, but three, to make sure the authors get paid for what they deserve, you know, because authors don't get paid what they deserve. I mean, some authors are lucky to get 10% of their book sales.
We
I
don't
mean,
even
when you
get
think
that.
people are selling book sales, I know, and it's disgusting that you don't. It's ridiculous that you don't, because it's just so bad that you've put in all that time and effort and all your knowledge and everything and all your work, and you know, because it is work on the path. You have to work at it. You have to learn every single day. You learn something different, and you push yourself and guide yourself in different ways, and you get other people that give you that knowledge. So when you're putting that knowledge into a book, and you're putting that your time and effort into creating that book, you should be the ones that get paid for it. The publisher does put time and effort in, but nowhere near as much as the author.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it's disgusting that the authors don't get paid properly for it,
No, we get
which is
$1.
why we do that 50% profit split.
Well, that's awesome. We get $1 a book.
$1, whole dollar, which we split between us. That's why we're so rich.
With the wrong publishing company.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
So Logan has a question. He said, "Do you mind telling us how you chose the name Fenix?"
It's not spelled how you think
So
it's spelled.
this is another thing. It's not. It's spelt with an F, so it's Fenix instead of the normal bird phoenix. So it's a really funny story actually, because me and Sarah used to work together in a spiritual shop. That's how me and Sarah really got to know each other. I mean, I knew Sarah a long time before we worked together, but we worked in this spiritual shop for about 9 months, I think it was. And we became really, really good friends while we were working together. And we decided that we were going to set up a business, because I loved my herbs. She loved her oils and her candles, and she loved her herbs as well. And we put our heads together, and we had one afternoon, and it's a really funny story, because I got all my herbs down, and we created 36 herbal incenses.
My
So
God.
within one afternoon.
In one afternoon.
Within one day, should I say.
Wow.
And it was really funny, because as we create, we're testing them, we're making sure they smell nice, because obviously they're going into people's homes. So we wanted them to smell nice, we wanted them to be right as well. So while we were testing them, we must have gone through a pack of charcoal in that afternoon while we were testing these incenses we were making together. And Claude, my wife, came downstairs and just said, "Would you please open a window and a door, because the cats are walking around a bit high right now." And Sarah kind of looked at each other and just went, I can't really see you. Do you want some cookies?
It's
We
this cloud of
demolished
smoke.
3 packets of cookies. Yeah. And we opened the windows and doors and we were sitting there and we were like, so we've got these incenses, we've not even come up with a name yet. And she actually had a company where she was selling her 7-day candles under the name Phoenix with a PH. Flames, no, just Phoenix candles it was. And I sort of said, well, let's keep the word Phoenix, but let's change it around a bit. Let's play with it a little bit. And then I can't remember whether it was her or me, but we were in that state of that alpha state, should we say, of
The bliss.
making incense and being a bit
Oh, she
smoky.
froze.
And we
Oh no!
Oh no! Well, hopefully she'll come back. Don't worry. We'll just keep talking. This is the joys of
Mercury retrograde.
Mercury retrogrades. It says she's disconnected, reconnecting. Hopefully she'll spring back. We'll keep talking. So yeah, we're joined today with Angela. Hopefully she's
Hello.
back. Oh, there
There
she
she
is.
is.
She's
Yep.
back. Yeah, we just the gremlins.
Hello.
This is the trouble when you're hundreds of thousands of miles apart. So technology does
Yeah.
play in. Don't worry, we're here and we'll witter on anyway. So you got to the point where everybody couldn't see anybody anymore. And then you disappeared. As if to illustrate the
oh
point.
sorry. That's magic for you. But no, we came up with the name because she had the candle business already that was Phoenix candles with a PH. And I sort of said, well, let's change the name of Phoenix and let's change it into something different. Why don't we put an FENIX instead? And she said, yeah, but that just feels, Phoenix it feels like it needs something more. And we were both like, well, we're burning up a bit in here, so shall we call it Flames? And I said it as a joke, and it just kind of stuck. So
Yeah, no, it's lovely.
It's got a ring to it. It's got a ring to
And
it.
it's really interesting
Yeah.
now too, because the phoenix rises from his ashes. I know you know this, and I find it really cool that you guys are working with real established people who need to rise up, who need to be renewed from past bad deals.
I know it's often said that when an elder dies, a library dies with them, but you're actually preserving the library literally, and that is an amazing gift. Yeah.
And that will stay in print for as long as we are possibly walking this earth, hopefully, and then hopefully we can pass it on to other people that will keep those into print, and keep the memories alive and the tablets going as such.
Yeah.
And I think you've also got Marion coming on soon as well, haven't you?
Yes.
Marion
Yes.
Pierce,
Yep,
who
Marion Pierce.
is also one of our elders in the pagan path. So, she wrote a lot of articles for the Pentacle magazine, and she was the editor of the Pentacle magazine for a very, very long time. So, you've also got her coming on, and we're republishing. We've republished 2 of hers. We've got 1 more of hers in the pipeline. So there will be a third of Marion's at some point.
We had a shop in Bishop's Castle and a shop in Ludlow. And this was 20 odd years ago, but yes, we carried Pentacle.
We actually advertised in Pentacle and Pagan Dawn.
Advertised in Pentacle and Pagan Dawn. Yeah.
If I recall correctly. So we can't. That name rang a bell immediately when you said you're in the list. Ooh.
He said Marion Pierce. We said, ooh, okay, we know her.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm so
lady.
grateful.
Yeah, we are so grateful for you hooking us up with all these wonderful people. Because we joke that we're snobs, so we like being hooked up.
I'm from Birmingham. How can I possibly be a snob? All right,
Just thinking, isn't that from Birmingham?
We don't do snobbish in Birmingham.
No, I joke that I'm a Reiki snob and a Wicca snob, so I love being able to hobnob in a snob way.
Excuse us.
Yeah.
I'm joking, really, but
Bless you.
I'm joking, really, but it
You
is
have
nice
got a lot of our great.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's
No, I
that
say
lag
I'm
again,
joking.
isn't it? You've got a lot of our great. Yeah.
Keep going. Don't stop. We got a lot of great what? Keep going. Keep going, Angela.
You have got a lot of great authors coming up. You've got a lot of, you've got Marion Pearce coming soon, haven't you? And you've got a couple of others coming as well, which I'm going to let you announce the rest of them, but because I don't know whether you wanted to announce a couple of them yet. But
go
for it. Go for it. Because we're in your hands to pull the strings.
So it's quite a lineup, yeah. So we have Moira.
So I think Marion Pearce. Yeah, there's Moira Hodgkinson, there's Marion Pearce, and then there is the lovely Janet and Gavin. So Janet Farrar and Gavin Bone coming on for you as well.
I think
another Pompey.
Pompey. Another Pompey. Yeah.
They're on the week.
He's from Fashing, though, isn't he?
I don't know.
24th. No, not 24th. It's
23rd. They're on the week of Yule.
23rd.
Yeah, they're on the week of Yule. Janet and Gavin, so we're looking forward to that as well.
That'd be great. I know the first time I met Janet, she smacked my arse.
She would have enjoyed it thoroughly as well. Janet.
No, she helped. She helped
the first
me a lot.
time I ever met. Yeah, Janet's amazing. I mean, the first time I ever met Janet, it was at Pagan Tribal Gathering, which is a festival in the UK. And if any Americans come over here, please go to Pagan Tribal. It's an amazing festival. And I sort of approached Gavin and Janet and sort of said, I always have a book signing at my stand. Would you like me to set you up a table for an hour and have you sign your books there? Because they were coming, but they had nowhere to literally sit and sign books. So I offered them an hour at my tent to sign books up. They would have got it if they asked. Obviously, it's Janet and Gavin. They would have got what they wanted, but because Janet doesn't take no for an answer. But but the funniest thing was she came up and went, "You've got me a seat and a table, haven't you?" And I went, "Yes, I have, Janet." And then she looked at me and went, "I need a water as well." And I was like, "Would you like a cup of tea or a water, Janet?" And she said, "I'll have both." And I was like, "Okay, no problem. I'll go get it for you."
Yeah. Well, got any wine? We'll take that too.
She's earned that place. That's the thing, She's earned that place.
Totally. So. She can have what she wants.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just fabulous people. They really are lovely, lovely people.
She helped me a lot. It was years ago. Yeah. She was reading a place not too far from our store. There's another shop that's not there anymore.
Sadly, no longer there.
It's not there anymore, but that was one of her Hive High Priestesses store. And I went for a reading, and she could tell by the questions that I was asking, that I wasn't some crazy nutter. I was really asking questions, and she helped me a great deal. And gave me her email and said, if you have any more questions, you can ask me. So.
Gracious, very gracious lady, without doubt. And, it's so nice to meet genuine people who genuinely care, genuinely give a crap, not people who are just so full of themselves, get out of my way, And I think that's what sets true... I'd always say true craft elders, aside from those aspiring wannabes who just regurgitate something else and are full of their own importance. And I don't mean to decry any particular individual, but I'm sure we've all come across them. And it is nice because if you've done your stuff, you don't have anything to prove anymore. Do you know what I mean? And you are genuinely there to help people, and it's so humbling and so beautiful to see that in people. And I know some of the people you're very much connected with, and they are the salt of the earth, and more power to their elbow.
Philip Heselton.
Yes,
be on as well.
Yes, there you go.
When you said salt of the earth, I thought, oh my gosh, Philip, yeah.
Philip, how can we forget about Philip?
You
Philip's
can't
amazing.
really, can you?
No, I absolutely adore Philip. He makes me laugh with his crankiness. It's unbelievable. I love his crankiness that he has sometimes.
But he's
especially
like an encyclopedia.
Don't ever get...
Don't get in the way when he needs a kip.
Listen to Philip for hours. Don't get in his way when he needs a nap, because he'll just fall asleep in front of you. He just doesn't care. I've got a funny story about Philip, actually.
All right.
Go on then.
Which he won't mind me sharing. But But when we were at Pagan Tribal again, I got him to come, and I sort of said to him, anytime you need to sit down on a cup of tea or a drink or something to eat, just come and see us and we'll sort you out. And he came and sat down with us, and he just put his hand on my leg gently, and he just went, Angela, do you think I could go for a sleep in your tent? Because I don't feel like walking back to the B&B. Are you still there?
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
It froze for a moment then. Did you get that?
Oh,
and I
sorry.
just went, I just went, well, Philip, my bed's kind of on the floor. Let me see if you can sleep in my friend's camper van, see if they'll let you use their bed for a couple of hours. And he just went, oh, that would be lovely, Angela, but can I have a cup of tea first? And I went, no problem. So I went and spoke to my friends, made him a cup of tea. He had a cup of tea. And then as soon as I came back, I said, when you're ready, Philip, you can go and have a sleep. And you're okay to go in there. They're just going to change the bedding for you. And he went, oh, they don't need to do that. And he stood up and he walked straight over to the camper van and he looked at them dead in the eye and said, I've come for a sleep and don't you dare change the bedding. And he just walked straight past them and got on the bed and fell asleep.
Oh, I love it.
And then the very next day, he didn't even ask. Just went in and went, I'm going for a sleep. Walked straight
That's
in.
hysterical.
Protocol has been established now. That's what happens.
But he's not a young guy anymore either. He's not a young guy anymore.
No, he's
either.
not, bless him.
Yeah.
But I absolutely adore Philip. He's so lovely, but he does get cranky at times and he says what he thinks, and I love that about Philip. But he will sit there and he will listen and listen and listen, and then all of a sudden he'll go, now, my dear, you got that slightly wrong. You're talking about Gerald, especially. And you're like, okay, I got it wrong. Go ahead, Philip.
Oh, no, as I say, he's like the encyclopedia of Gerald and Doreen, you know?
He knows his onions. He surely does know his onions.
Do you know what? I would love to
really
see...
does.
I would love to see him talk to you about publishing some of his old books on ley lines.
Oh, yes.
Ah, okay.
If you want to go digging there, we would love those.
He, in the 70s, I believe it was this late 70s, he was really into ley lines. And I think that that is going to be making a comeback. Because I think a lot of these megalithic sites alignments and history is going to be growing over the next couple of years. Astrologically, I think people are going to be doing that research, and he already has such a huge foundation. But he's probably not even thinking about those anymore because he's so into his biographies and, more Wicca craft kind of stuff.
Contemporaneous history,
wow.
perhaps, yeah. But,
wow. There is 3 books that we're going to be republishing of Philip's. One of them is Wickham Roots. Nice. The other one is it The Guardians of the Earth? I think that was one of his.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
I may have got that title wrong.
No, I haven't.
I may have got that title wrong, and I can't remember what the other one is, and he will kill me for that.
But are any of them about the ley lines?
I know Wickham Roots isn't, but that's the next one we're going to be republishing of Philip's is Wickham Roots.
Wickham Roots is a lot of Gardnerian.
The other 2,
Wickham
it
Roots
is.
is Gardnerian.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but there's there's bits that he's changed in that, and there's stuff that he's removed from the original copy, because he's quite open about things when he gets things wrong, and he says there's things in Wickham Roots that he got wrong. So he's changing some of the stuff in Wickham Roots to correct it, and it's not going to be a totally new book. It is republished, but it's another edition. It's an updated version of Wickham Roots. It's Guardians of something. I can't remember what the full title is. This is my menopausal brain going off now.
I know. I call it mental pause. It sucks. But this is a book he had published prior, is what you're saying. Like
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I'm sure that has a lot to do with. I'm sure it has a lot to do. I think it has some ley line stuff in it, but it also has a lot to do with the trees, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
It's been a
I
while
think
since
that,
we've discussed it, you see.
well, that's going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
And I think that, poke him a little about the ley lines thing, because I'm telling you that there is going to be this huge resurgence of looking into ancient mounds and ley lines and how they connect and what they're doing with preserving information regarding as above, so below. And he could be cutting edge, but all he'd have to do is go to his little archive,
I think it's amazing. Certainly
Republished.
some of the work that Lisa and I have been doing of late. We've no idea how much we knew way back in prehistoric times. Our ability to accurately map the heavens. It's just we seem to think we were just thag with a bang, I'll hit it on the head and eat it kind of thing. But no, we had some kind of seriously advanced civilization.
Well, right. When we think about it, even right now, we have some people and cultures that are still quite primitive. Like tribes in the Amazon or Africa, Kalahari Bushmen. Those could be considered hunter-gatherers if we were, 15,000 years from now, when people come back and look, right? Those guys would be considered the hunter-gatherers, the people who are still, isolated and working tribally, compared to somebody like Jeff Bezos, who can, own the world and is sending rockets in the air. So this could have certainly happened prior to the Ice Age. There could be a civilization that could have built these monuments with precision to the stars at the same time that there were people that were hunter-gatherers, because we have that now. So it's not such a crazy concept.
The trouble is, it's prehistory.
No,
and
it's
because
not
it's prehistory, there's nothing written, and history's only written by the victors anyway, So it depends who's telling the story as to what the story is, But no, we would love it. We would so love that stuff that you're talking about from Philip. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, some of the we have a lot of work to do, because I haven't even mentioned Vicky yet. We're signing a relatively newish author, but her name's Vicky Branshaw, and she researches the way that Philip does. And her and Philippa started talking about possibly doing an autobiography together. He sent her a load of information about a particular person down in the New Forest, and she actually lives in the New Forest. So, but she's written two books. She's written The Craft of the Wise and the New Forest Folklore, which is really interesting. Oh, and she's written a book on Dionysus, and she's just released a book on Hecate. So,
oh my God! All right.
And she's going to become one of our authors. We're actually releasing a compendium of work that she's done with people like Janet and Gavin and Jonathan and Mara Starling and Laura. Her last name's flown out of my head, but we're about to, that's a book that's going to be coming up probably not next year, but the year after. And she is such a fascinating author because she's got so much knowledge there, and she's been around for a long time, but she's kept very sort of under the radar a little bit with people.
Well, that's like us. We're the best kept secret.
Under the radar. Yeah. And I love those sort of people. That's why I love you two. Because you've got your own ways.
Yep. Own
ways
private
of doing
Idaho.
things, and you don't get involved in the
in the witch wars.
We try not to.
You've got, what's the point? There's no point in witch wars.
Crazy people.
We're all trying to go towards the same goal. It's it's all power, isn't it? It's all power.
Yeah.
But people want power that they've not really got, and they'll probably never get it because they're creating witch wars.
Yeah.
So I got a question then, because you've been talking about everybody else, and you've been talking about your company, which is fantastic and beautiful and wonderful, and we're stupidly grateful to actually have you here. But What have you, child of promise? What's your story? What brought you here?
Oh, okay. So, um, I grew up in a huge family, and my grandmother always did very witchy things, what you would class as witchy things now. I just saw them as normal. I used to go round every full moon and I used to help her empty all her jars of salt with the iron nails on the windowsills in her house, on every windowsill. There was 12 of them. And I used to have to run round, pick up all her jars and help her empty the salt out, clean the jars up so they sparkle, and then replace all the salt, replace all the iron nails and a sprig of rosemary and put them back on the windowsills ready for the next full moon. And there was things like that growing up that my grandmother taught me how to work with nature and work with what's in the ground. We used to go foraging on the Sabbats to collect herbs and flowers and woods and pine cones and acorns and stuff to make simmering pots in the morning of a Sabbat. Do you know much about simmering pots
Yeah, a
over
little
there?
bit. Little bit.
You could tell
Yeah.
us though. Go on,
So
because whilst we do, that doesn't mean everybody else is
That's
watching.
right.
Go
That's
for
right.
it. Tell folks
yeah,
what a simmering pot is.
so
Dive in there.
a simmering pot is a really ancient technique of cleansing and energizing your home. They used to use it a lot medicinally back in the olden days, in the ancient times. The old wise women, as we would call them now, used to use them for things like when the plague was about, they would do a very medicinal simmering pot using things like cinnamon or cloves or peppermint and echinacea and things that they could probably get hold of. I mean, spices were quite rare back then, but that's what I would probably use now. It's not as rare to get hold of now, but you literally get a pot of boiling water, and the water's important as well because obviously different types of water do different things. So if you were to collect rainwater, it would be different from collecting snow water. As snow water is very transformative and very cleansing and purifying. So you would collect different types of water for different things and different simmering pots, and then you would choose the herbs that you would need. And you would literally put a pot of boiling water on the stove or oven or whatever you call it, and you would let it come up to the boil, and then you'd bring it down to a simmer, and then you would add all the ingredients into it, and you'd let it simmer for a good 4 or 5 hours. Now, I now use my slow cooker because it saves a bit of money, and I leave the lid off. It's a lot better than using a gas stove nowadays, and it's a lot cheaper. Um,
Yeah.
but my grandmother used to take me for walks on a Sabbat, and we used to go foraging for the stuff we would put in the simmering pot. Sometimes we would just need to walk around her garden. So when it was Sawane, for example, we could just walk around her garden, and she would have saved things like all the orange peels from the oranges she would have been peeling throughout the week and using all those sort of things. So you can use things that you would normally chuck away as well, like orange peel. A lot of people chuck it away. I don't. I dry it and use it in the incense, but that's a whole different story. um, and then you would bring it up to the boil and let it simmer for about 4 or 5 hours in your house. What that does is it sends this most amazing aromatic smell around your house, and it cleanses and it clears and it re-energizes the home, ready for what you're about to do in the evening, whatever ritual you're going to do, whatever spell work you're going to do, whether you're gathering your coven together or your friends together to celebrate that Sabbat. It will just cleanse the whole space ready for what you need it to do. And that smell lasted for ages afterwards. My
Oh,
grandmother would then use the liquid as a spray to clean the door frames, the windowsills, the skirting boards, her altars, her bookshelves. She would use it to clean, so it would actually go everywhere, whether it's by the
awesome.
steam or whether it's by the actual spray. She would use it.
Savannah is saying, who's also a Taurus, by the way. Savannah is also a Taurus,
Ah,
and she's saying, "Yay! I love simmer pots, and I use my slow cooker too."
Why not? Why not? You know, that's a wonderful thing. You've got to be prepared to adapt. I mean, back in the day, we all had that Arga or whatever, you know, that was going the whole time. You cook on it and all that sort of stuff. So obviously you can pop a simmer pot on there, but we have technology. Use the technology. The principle's still exactly the same, isn't it? And I love the fact that you like throwing things like orange peel in there, because that's a fantastic degreaser as well. So even when you're done with your simmer pot, you've got, as you say, this amazing cleaning spray that you can use at the end of it, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, a great simmering pot I love to use is, when I just feel my house just needs a really good deep cleanse. Um, Sometimes in spring I use it for spring equinox. Sometimes I use about 6 lemons and I cut them into quarters and I just chuck the 6 lemons into the simmering pot and I'll put cinnamon in with it and juniper berries, and I would use stuff from the garden. I'd grab some rosemary or some lavender from the garden and I'd bung that in with it as well. And the smell of that just going around your house is so cleansing and so clearing and so cleaning. And the spray afterwards is amazing. The spray lasts for about 2 weeks afterwards, so you can get a big bottle for the spray, and you can use it on your toilets. It'll clean your toilets, which is just great. And that's the lemon in it. But I absolutely adore that simmering pot because it's very citrusy and it's very fragrant as well, because you've got the cinnamon and the juniper in with it as well. I love it.
And Savannah says sometimes she'll write an intention on a bay leaf and add that too.
Why not?
Oh, great idea.
Why not?
I've never tried that before, but I like it.
It's a cool idea, yeah.
Natural magic is such a wonderful thing, and when we harness natural energies, trying to in working in harmony with nature, I think is such an incredible thing, because you'll never win nature. You know, you might as try to win nature as try and win an earthquake. It isn't going to happen. You know,
no.
So
go with the flow, man.
Work in harmony with nature, and things work out so much better. I find they just do. You know.
Yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree with that, because if you do try and work against nature, I mean, look at what happened when we were all locked down. How much better was the world when we came out of it? How much more alive did the world become?
Yeah.
When we had no pollution because nobody was allowed to drive their cars. It was something as simple as that. I mean, I remember going to the farm shop when we were just allowed out for the first time after being locked away for 3 months or whatever it was. And just driving to the farm shop and seeing deer running across the field. I hadn't seen that for years.
Yeah.
All this nature that just came out, and it was just amazing. I absolutely adored it. Absolutely adored it.
I wish we could be a little better at that. Logan says he's reminding us, don't forget to stir your intentions as well, and you could chant while you stir.
Yeah.
So they're listening. It's all good.
Yeah,
it is.
It is great. It's great. I love this.
Natural magic is such a beautiful thing, and this is. I mean, oddly enough, we do a Craft of the Wise course, which we were doing yesterday as well, and we sort of summed it up at the end of it, because yesterday's module was all about the Mabinogi, which is Welsh Celtic mythology, the basis thereof. But it's like we say, you've got to look, and observe nature and try to understand nature. And I mean, if we bring that right the way up to like the cutting edge sort of ecology, kind of bleeding edge stuff of permaculture, the very first step is to observe, isn't it? It's to observe what's going on so that you can make everything work harmoniously together and be self-sustaining. And we've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
And because of that, we're doing a great harm, and we don't recognize it. But I'm still full of hope. I think we can wake up to the fact and fix it. I hope so.
I don't know.
Well, we
I
can
think
try.
we're teetering on the edge.
I'm with you, Anton. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can get people to work more within themselves and more within nature. Because if we do, people will start loving themselves more. They'll start loving the planet more. They'll start loving other people more.
Yes.
And if we can get people to love themselves more to start with, they won't be out there looking for money or, unfortunately, we do need money to live in this world, but we only need enough. We don't need millions and millions of pounds sitting in our bank account to make things happy in the world. We
True,
need food on
true.
our table and a roof over our head and maybe a bit of warmth and a bit of love. That's all we need in life,
Simple
And if
things,
we
you
can get
know.
people to be on that path,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, totally simple things. But
What?
one of the, just taking it back a little bit, I've got one of the things you said about nature. I remember going to Norfolk and a coven had invited me in to go and do a ritual with them. And we were standing on the beach in Norfolk, and in Norfolk's in the I'm trying to get a compass point here. The
East
west,
Anglia is,
not the west, the east, the
yeah.
east of England. Norfolk's in the east of England, and we were standing on the beach, and they started calling in water in the west, and I was like, "But the sea's in the east. What are you doing?" I just stood there and went, "But the sea's over there." And I was like, God, I'm in somebody else's coven. Don't say anything.
Right?
It's
No,
their ritual. I
exactly.
can't interrupt them. And I just literally stood there and went, the sea's over there, without even thinking about it. And I was like, why are you calling in air in the sea? It just didn't make
Mm.
sense to me at all. And I was thinking, and I just sort of said to them afterwards, I just sort of said, would you not consider switching them around, because you're standing next to the sea, you're standing next to one of the biggest bodies of water you're going to be around.
Ah, yes, but
Sorry,
they're
my
talking
cat's walking
about.
about behind my
That's
computer.
all right. I get where
But
you're coming from as a pagan, but as a Wiccan, you are looking at compass points, and east is east,
yeah,
and east is air, where the sun
yeah,
rises, right?
okay.
So it doesn't matter where the water is. It
But
matters where the
Right,
sun
okay.
rises.
That makes more
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Yeah,
however,
they
there is
couldn't
something.
explain why at the time, and I was like,
Well, maybe they didn't know.
There is something to be said for
yeah,
honouring the genius loci, the
Yes,
spirit of the place without
exactly.
doubt, and offering, if you have a representation of a deific or a deity that represents that particular part of the coastline or whatever, then yeah, certainly honour and bring that in. But
yeah.
but that's true. See, there's a difference. You
Right.
observed. You went there and you
And you thought
observed.
about it, and it made sense to you.
That makes you the
And it's a shame.
minority.
And it's a shame that they couldn't explain the cardinal points are what they're working with, not necessarily, you know, Earth being down.
The element.
Earth is
Yeah,
north, right? So it's a shame that they couldn't
yeah.
explain that to you. But yeah, I could see why you'd be like,
Mm.
"Hello, we're 5 feet from the water. That's not air."
I was just so confused at the time. I was like, wait, but that's a big body of water.
Yeah, yeah. No, it has to do
But
definitely has to do with the cardinal points.
It does my head in when you think, if you
yeah,
translate that then to the southern hemisphere, and obviously the sun still rises in the east and sets in the west in the southern hemisphere, but it's at its peak at the north. The hottest part is where the sun's in the noonday.
Oh well,
That like do your head in, wouldn't it? It's like,
no,
what?
it's so bizarre that I get that, but I remember Christopher Hughes writing to me and saying, "I'm here for Samhain,
It's
but
hot.
it's Beltane."
I don't get it.
Right? So he had gone to Australia to do workshops and
yeah.
speaking, and it was October, so he's like all geared up in his cycle for it to be Calangaeaf, Samhain,
Yeah.
and he's like, "There's maypoles, and I don't know what to do."
It's really confusing because when you pull the plug out the bath, the
That would
water
so
goes
freak
down
me
the
out.
opposite way. It's like, what? This is
That
weird.
would so
Too
freak
weird.
me out. What's
Oh
this
yeah,
going
no.
on?
Because
It's
they
madness.
just had. It's weird, right? They just had Mabon here, and then they go there, and they're like, "It should be Samhain." Oh wait, oh no. He was like, "What the hell?"
It's the same moon, but it's
Oh,
upside down.
Christopher's so funny.
Oh, we love him.
Yeah.
We say that he has just the right amount of wrong.
Exactly the right amount of wrong, yeah. You
Yep,
take
I
him
can see
anywhere
that.
twice. The second time to apologise.
I'm gonna share one
Yeah.
kind of taboo moment. I'm gonna share a taboo
Oh
moment.
no,
One
are you
of
allowed?
one of his favorite places when he comes over is the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet.
Oh God, no.
Right?
Okay.
So, my friend who's also a Scorpio, so the two Scorpios and Anton and I
Say no more.
go to the buffet. So when fortune cookies come, and I told him, it's tradition that you have to add in bed after you read the fortune, because it makes it that much funnier. You know, like one should always take control of your life in bed, right? So he opens it up, and he's tears. He's just laughing so hard. He's bright red, and he's laughing so hard. Tears are coming down. He says, "I can't do it." And I said, "Come on, it's tradition." No,
That must have been
I
really
cannot say this in public. We're like, "Come on." He's like,
No.
so my friend takes it and reads it. Never underestimate the power of small children in bed.
No, don't go.
And he was freaking out.
It's like, oh, you can't make this stuff up. I love it.
But yeah, so it's always something when he comes.
It's you guys. We had. Can you organise an author tour? You know, you did an author tour in the UK. I know it may.
Well, we can't have everybody at once.
Not at what? Well, we could try a few. We'd give it a go.
Well, she was saying that they might be able to send somebody the end of May.
Oh.
Just depends on if the world is here or not.
We can't confirm that yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It just depends on what the world is doing by then.
Quite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully,
will be a
if there is
discussion
still
about
a world,
Yeah.
assuming we still have a sky above us and all that.
Well,
sort
no,
of
that April to July time is
Yeah.
going to be really freaky.
spooky.
Crazy.
Difficult astrologically, but let's look. We're having a lot of fun, so we're
having a lot of fun. We're
having
gonna
a
keep
lot
it
of fun.
light.
We'll
Yeah.
keep it positive.
But no, I had talked to Angela about some tours, and
that would be so good.
she was saying maybe even you and your partner Claude could come too, right?
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Why not?
definitely. Because Claude's a musician, as you know. She's,
We like
you know,
musicians.
by under the name Earth Tree Healing, she does a lot of pagan music.
Cool.
All right, so say that again.
Her biggest
Does she have a
album in
website?
America. Yes, it's Earth Tree Healing is her website. So you just need to
earthtreehealing.com?
type in Earth Tree Healing. Yeah, and it can.
Earthtreehealing.com.
She's on
There's probably
iTunes.
no spaces.
She's on
there.
Amazon. She's on Spotify and iTunes and everything. So you can find her all over the place.
Just got to plug everything. I mean, that's
and
fine.
her
She's
music-
also an artist. Her artwork's behind you, if I believe, also, isn't it?
Just a gentle tilt up there for you.
There you go. Subtle plug.
And then
That's all right.
you do a lot of kitchen
Yeah.
witching stuff and all kinds of
Yep.
goddess. You do goddess workshops and you teach on different.
I do
deities?
goddess workshops, yes. I do a lot of deity workshops. I'm just about to start what I call the part 3 of my gods and goddesses, which I'm going to be writing the first part after I finish speaking to you guys. I'm not sure who I'm going to do yet. I'm going to see who takes me over and who decides to come through and say, you're talking about me tomorrow. So, okay.
Awesome.
But I love my deities. I think they're amazing energies. You know, deities are amazing to work with and work for at times, because some of them you have to work for, not with.
Serve the old
The
gods.
Morrigan being one of them. You work for her, not with her. Which is great. And so yeah, I do a lot of deity work. I like doing workshops on my deities. I love doing workshops on my herbs. I do a lot of candles, herbs, oils sort of workshops as well. You know, I teach the way my grandma used to teach me, which was very practical usually. So there's usually practical work on top of my workshops, especially with the herbal incense ones. People
That
get to
sounds
make and play with herbs.
Crystal
yeah.
says, "Hello, my witches. I'm sending my love. I listen to Earth Tree Healing. Thank you," with 3 exclamation points.
So there you go. Then.
Thank you.
Apparently, you already got a
Thank
fan.
you.
Love it.
Yes,
I love that.
we've got millions of fans in America actually. So
beautiful.
Claude's actually the biggest selling place in America for her is New York. New York is the biggest seller of her music, followed closely by LA. So
wild, yeah.
and then Britain comes about 5th on the list. Mexico, Brazil's 4th and 5th, I think, 3rd and 4th, and then
this is,
UK is
this is
5th.
the streaming stuff.
Yep, all streaming. Yeah, so she's had over 1 million streams in UK on iTunes alone.
Wow.
And
pretty
then
cool.
she's had a fair few million on Spotify and things. So she is quite well known in the US, to be honest.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
She is quite well known over there.
If the only likes of iTunes and Spotify paid the way that you guys pay at Fenix Flames, eh? Yeah, might actually make something.
I wish she wouldn't have to work for the NHS then. Let's put it that way. No, she's doing all right at the moment. Actually, she's they've started using some of her music for AI to program computers, apparently.
Interesting.
So some of the notes that she's playing is being used to help program some AI computers.
Yeah, that's
scary.
As a musician, this kind of bothers me a little bit. We're just going to like pick things that are really cool, and then we're just going to bounce a couple of notes around in the melody and screw you on your copyright. Thank you very much, you know. And I don't know, because I'm an old crusty
she's getting paid for it. She is getting she is getting paid for it because she has copyrighted everything. So the places where she signs up for, there's a place called, I won't say it online because people don't really need to know.
No,
but there's a place where I don't know if we'll be allowed to or not, but there's a place where she can put in little clips of her music that sort of soundtracks and films and adverts and people buy her music there. And then if it actually goes onto the TV or it gets played with AI, she then gets more money through that.
Okay.
So she is earning a little bit here and there, but not as much as what I would like her to. Because,
to be
she's
fairly.
probably only. Yeah, I think iTunes pays 0.0 a fourth of a pence basically per track that gets streamed. That's what she gets paid, a fourth of a pence.
Yeah, that's why so many crusty old musicians are coming out of retirement and going back on stage.
Right, the only way they can make money is touring.
That's about the size of it.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right, merchandise is the only way musicians really make money.
Right.
Merchandising.
Or playing a gig. Playing a gig and getting high ticket for that. Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah, well, it's the only way they can really make money.
We are so grateful that you were able to take the time to come on our little show here and impart your wisdom, and a profound thank you, absolutely, from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here for the work that you guys are doing with Fenix Flames. It is beyond, I don't know, beyond awesome, literally. To see that the old ways are still much alive, you know, and that you guys are taking such an active part to preserve them and to provide an equitable platform for authors who, like us, probably make pennies on a book, you know. So it's thank you for that. Thank you, seriously, and thank you particularly from all of the people watching also for the kindness in getting your authors to come along and do little bits for us as well. So hopefully we can go through the whole gamut. We'd love to. We'd love to have everybody.
Give everybody a platform that wants to talk.
You know? Yeah. It's fun and people love it.
You're going to go through the whole lot.
All right then. Perfect.
All right. So what I'm going to do now, I don't know. Do you read tarot at all?
We'll put you on the spot, Tom.
I do. It's actually what my main job is.
All right then. Because every show we pull card of the week. And of course, we each have a completely different take. So if you'd like to contribute your take on this card, that would be great.
Why not?
All right. So it is Sag New Moon.
Dun, dun, dun.
And our card for the week is
the Three of Pentacles.
Three of Pentacles.
Oh, I love it.
So I'm going to say my take on this is be mindful of how you're building things. Don't forget the detail or you might find it crumbles.
Okay.
Your take.
My take on this one is, although this can at a very, very trivial level indicate the need to do a little bit of home improvement, move some things around, make things a little fresher, what's going on here is that this guy, the abbot, wants to build this lasting edifice for his god, doesn't know how to go about it, talks to this guy who no doubt turns up in a Volvo. The architect produces the plan, and this guy, the master mason,
turns up in a Volvo?
Well, of course, he's an architect, isn't he? That's what he's going to do. And he's no doubt going to be wearing an outlandishly wonderful sweater.
What is your reading for the week?
No, look. between each one of them can do nothing, but together they've got it. But here's the magic of the three. It's the idea, the plan, the action. Idea, plan, action. If you want to achieve something, take your idea, because an idea without a plan is just a wish. Make a plan and then act on that plan and look at what you got.
All right.
There you go. Your turn.
Okay, so I've actually pulled it out of my deck here, which I use a different deck. I don't know if you can see that.
What deck is that?
It's the Three of Pentacles. It's the Mythic deck.
The Mythic deck. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, because I couldn't quite see your card, you see, so I was kind of trying to squint, but I couldn't quite see it. So I pulled it out of my deck instead, which was conveniently next to me. That's better. Yeah. So I actually see this one, although I do agree with Lisa on this one. I think people need to start taking little steps to start building their prosperity. They need to start building their path ahead of them. They need to start building it. They need to take little steps to get to that path. They need to take little steps to get to where they need to get to. I think this is a bit of a warning for people that are running ahead of themselves. It's a bit of a warning for people that are trying to jump over steps. They're trying to jump over what they need to get to. And by jumping over it, it's all going to crumble around them. Whereas if they take the little steps, they take their time, they start pushing forward in the way that they're supposed to push forward, it's actually going to be quite prosperous for them. It's actually going to be a good building blocks as such.
Right, so
and that's
really
what I'm
cool.
seeing in this card.
That's cool because we kind of all are giving the same information.
Yeah.
We're saying don't go too fast, put things in order, and firm your foundation. So that's what for this week.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
card. I like this card. I like this card a lot.
Carol has posted. Now, Carol is one of our founding elders, right? And she writes, Angela, thank you all so much for all of... Angela, thank you for all of your information. It feels very familiar.
Nah. Of course it would.
Oh, that's lovely.
Of course it.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol.
Our Carol is the quintessential grandmother. We love her. We love her to small pieces.
You also don't mess with her.
Oh, don't mess with her. Oh, God, no. Lisa has these one-liners for all of the signs, right? And me, I'm a Leo. You could probably tell. And Leo is, did you see me? And followed by Virgo is, did you see that? And that's so Carol.
Right.
You're about
Now
to be
we've got a
pounced
cat
on.
walking above us.
That's Rambo.
Rambo.
All right.
Oh, love it.
All right, so Shayna says thank you. Yes, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in.
so much. Yeah, it's about time you wrote your book, eh? You keep publishing everybody else's, but maybe you should put pen to paper, eh? What do you think?
People keep telling me I need to write a book on herbs and simmering pots, and I keep saying the same thing. There's so many books out there already on herbs and simmering pots. Why do you need big old dyslexic me trying to create a book when there's too much other stuff to do?
So listen, I used to do a lot of self-deprecation too, but I had to give it up. I was no good at it.
All right, Savannah says, what a wonderful show. Very fun. The devil is in the details. Great card for the week. Love it. Thank you all. Have a great week.
Yep, thank you all. And so I don't know what the schedule is for next week, but we should have somebody interesting with a spot of luck.
I think it's Marion Pierce next week.
Is it Marion? I don't
Marion.
know.
It's Marion Pierce.
Yeah,
it's Marion Pierce next week. Yeah.
Well, same bat time, same bat channel. Join us for Marion. She's going to be
See you on a Monday.
All right, guys. Thank you so very, very much, and thank you again so very much.
Thank you,
Angela.
guys.
It's awesome to see you.
Thank you, guys.
And what a fun show. We've had so much fun, and really great thing you're doing. More power to your elbow.
Yes.
May you continue to do it.
Honestly, thank you for your service.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sending lots of love and hugs to all our American friends out there. Stay with it.
Well, thank you so very, very much. We love you to small pieces. We're gonna say goodbye now, and that'll be us. That's an hour gone.
See
just
you
like
next
that.
Monday,
Boom.
guys.
So we're gonna see you next Monday.
Thank you
Have a
very
beautiful
much.
day. Thanks for joining us. Tell your friends. Share this everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc., etc. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.